Education is the key. Yes. Today we are talking about a great leader, none other but the late Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is a very famous man, the greatest African ever lived. But there's one controversial thing about Mandela that a lot of people are talking about. What's wrong with Mandela? Let's hear from my friend.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people keep saying, accusing Nelson Mandela for being a sellout, you know. When he came out of prison, he didn't act right. But people don't have information, and that's why we thought maybe we should give you a clear information. Why, when Nelson Mandela came out of the prison, didn't act the way your expectations are. So let's go and look back. Nelson Mandela was jailed for life, but then he was released after 27 years. And just look at things, you know, somebody has been jailed for 27 years with no capability of meeting anybody. 27 years in just a cubicle by yourself for 27 years.
Isolation.
In isolation. You don't even meet nobody, know your family, nobody. So try to imagine, or just, you know, this is not maybe something you need to ask a scientist or maybe somebody. Like, if somebody puts you somewhere in isolation for 27 years, you're probably not going to think right when you come out of that cubicle.
Yes.
So this possibility, Nelson Mandela, when he was in prison for 27 years, people might have tampered with his brain cells. And so maybe they tortured, you know, obviously they tortured him for 27 years.
To be in isolation means your brain is going to incur damage.
Exactly.
So you don't have to be given even any poison.
That's true.
And not forgetting that even the nature and the environment in which he was is not the best. These are people who are merciless, people who are don't care about the Africans. These are people who had come only to enrich themselves. These are only people who think about diamond and the minerals and the gold.
And these are people who, like, they saw the potential Nelson Mandela had for the people of Africa.
Yes.
And these are people who didn't want, because they felt like, you know, they want to remain powerful. And they felt a threat from Nelson Mandela because he was somebody who was focused, a philanthropist, somebody who was to lift Africa to a different state. And so these people could not allow that to happen. So that's why they had to cut it. And they tampered with his brain. They tortured him. And
after they realized that he's not in a position to bring that bright life and bright change to the African child, African boy, African girl, they now agree they're going to release Mandela, because they knew Mandela is no longer there. The original Mandela that they put in jail is gone.
They had taken away his brain. They have controlled him.
Yes.
They have, like, you know, most likely by the time they were releasing him, they knew exactly who he was, because they were in control of him.
They changed
his mind.
They changed his mind.
The way he used to think.
Him being the president of South Africa, it is the white people who are in charge of South Africa. And that's why they never changed it. They never returned land to the African people. Mining is was still mined by the white men companies. And even today it is. And so empowerment of African people was never realized. You're just told you're free, but you're not. You have nothing. You have to go back to the same people who are calling you, who are persecuting you, to give you jobs. You are going back to beg to the same people, so they are still in control of South Africa.
So that is actually something so pathetic, not good. Like, you know, you are an African, you live in your own motherland, and somebody comes over and take over and still, like, you know, hold you like a prisoner in your own country. Something not really pleasant. And so we just wanted you to get a clear information about Nelson Mandela, because most people really don't know why Nelson Mandela, when he came out, didn't act right. He didn't act right because he couldn't act right.
He was not in a position. He was weak.
You know?
He was already destroyed.
Completely destroyed.
And he lost himself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sad story about Mandela. Mandela was innocent.
So
Mandela never wanted his own people to be in pain. He wanted his own people to be in position. But they had already damaged him. It's for you now to realize what the problem is and chase that problem. And we need to fix this. It's people of South Africa, the people of Africa know the truth, and the truth will bring in the freedom that you are looking for.
So
you are not free until you know the truth.
We are not done with this topic. Just keep up with this channel. We have the next one coming up, so we have more to bring to the table for you. So click the like, share this video, let it go viral, and we have more for you.
Remember, you're not free until you have the true information. Bless you, South Africa.
Stay blessed.
We wish you well.
Stay
blessed.
We wish you
well.
Very well.
Yes.
Kiss my brother and sisters.